I'm Joe Moscato. I'm the host of Joe Talk. Tonight we have distinguished guests. We have Mike Porcelli, who's a co-host, radio co-host, master mechanic, teacher, and business owner. And just happens to be pro-Trump. Then we had Don Perlis, a renowned artist, a painter of social commentary, and he's kind of like anti-Trump. And me, sort of like in the middle, enjoying the circus, which basically this is. This is a circus. But we're part of the circus, and we have to react in one way to what's going on. Now, how do I start? The only way I can start is remembering this beautiful artist named Bridget. Now, Bridget came to me the day after the November election when Trump was elected. And she was distraught. She was upset. She was like close to crying. She's really a mess. And I said, hey, lighten up, Bridget. What's the problem? She said, well, Trump was elected. So I said, big deal. He's not really bright. He's kind of like amoral. But, we'll live through it. It's only like 4 years. In a sense, that was a mistake to make that comment. Luckily, I haven't seen Bridget again, so I don't have to own up to all the negative comments I had made and thoughts I made about her. So what we can do is basically deal with Peach has been impeached. I mean, should I say Trump has been impeached. It's to the Senate. It started again. Everything is mixed up. Everybody's talking their talk. The next guy is talking his talk. So now we're going to bring kind of like normal people into the fray. So we're going to start with Mike. Now, what is your take on what's going on and what's your take about Trump's presidency?
First of all, my take on the impeachment is it's all nonsense. It's a disservice to the American people. And my take on Trump's performance so far, I like what he's doing. I say don't worry about, how you think he acts, what he says. Just look at what he does, how he performs. And if it's good for the country, that's all that matters.
Don, what's your take on what's going on?
I first of all, I wouldn't call myself anti-Trump because I'd call myself apolitical, if anything. And I tend to look at the whole thing like a circus from the outside. And that's including what's gone on in the last 30 years. I mean, really, I look at it like that. It's not just because of Trump.
Your work is social satire, and we have a couple of pieces that you've done, paintings you've done.
Yeah.
We'd like to show them.
Yeah, it might be a better way for me to express myself, too.
Yeah, and it pretty much explain what you see for us.
Well, there's my painting with your card on the left.
Okay.
Like on it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I thought it was going to be part of it. This is a painting that I made. It's quite a large picture. It's called Trump World. And it's a painting of Times Square. And it's got an Uncle Sam character in the middle holding up two balloons, one of which has got Donald Trump's head on it. And this was started before he got elected and completed, after he got elected. And it was my take on, you know, what was going on in American politics, which has continued, you know, which is the connection with the politician with the corporations, for one thing. And I think the painting says that because of the, well, you know, the signs and the commercial signs behind Trump. And then below, I've got a kind of a cross section of a population of Times Square. There's a tourist bus on the left, and below there are denizens of Times Square, people who work, beg money, and so on and so forth, who dress up in superhero costumes and Elmo costumes, and women who paint their bodies, who, you know, pose for photography, and they're kind of carousing after hours, like on the left. In the middle, I've got ordinary people, and then I've got some, you know, and then there's an Elmo with a woman being embraced, and then I've got theater goers coming out of a theater on the right. So it's kind of a my take on the moment that the painting depicts, and it's apolitical in a sense. I mean, I was just kind of trying to. But it has there's a lot of symbology in it.
And you have another painting we could
Yeah, if you'd like,
comment on?
sure, sure. Yeah, this painting, which has gotten the sexual parts are blacked out, of course, but and it looks a little dark because I think the image came from not a great camera, but the colors are a lot brighter and prettier in real life. However, but this is a painting that's not titled, and it's really about morality, and it's about the dissolution of morality, and it's also about these men that have been accused. Now, President Trump, one of the things that he did, you know, that the media took advantage of and reported, of course, is that, you know, they took a lot of his private statements, but he said things in public. And he's also been accused by women. In other words, and he's been accused, and his office protects him from being taken to court because of the accusations. I think that's unarguable. He can't be really sued because of his position. So is it possible to put the painting back on there? Yeah, thank you. Because so what I've got in the painting is I mean, Trump made this famous remark. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on TV about grabbing women's, you know, so on and so forth. And it kind of electrified a lot of people. It pissed off a lot of women in the country, for one thing. And I think, from my vantage point, what it looked like was that there were a lot of people accused instead of Trump because they couldn't get Trump. So it started a whole kind of avalanche of people getting accused. Some of whom deserved it, and some of whom deserved it less. You know, for instance, I've got Woody Allen in this painting in the back, and a friend of mine looked at it and he said, "This is terrific, except Woody shouldn't be in the painting." I said, "I agree, he's innocent, but the painting is really about morality and it's about accusation, and the morality extends to the accusations too, because of what's happened, and part of the dissolution of morality." Is that people used to be guilty when they were proved guilty in a courtroom, and now accusation is enough to put people down, and that's a dissolution of public morality, and that's just as bad, if not worse, than the sexual, you know, morality that's also been decaying. You know,
So I would say
Yeah.
that since he got elected, with all this debris that was dragging around with all the accusations, is that morality is not the biggest ticket. It's not the biggest thing that really affects most people's opinion, because a lot of this pretty much happened the last couple of weeks before he got elected. So now, what is a basis that people elected Trump on, other than his utterances or bad behavior or what? There's certain things that people wanted, people were upset about, that appealed to them. So, Mike, would you have an idea of what got him elected?
What got him elected was dissatisfaction with the previous performance of the economy and the country in general. The people were fed up with high taxes and just America not being allowed to be the great country that we were founded to be, and which we've been in the past. And Trump came along with a slogan that said, "Make America Great Again." And a lot of us believe that we were not as great as we should be, and now we're getting back to where we should be.
See, a lot of fear, there's a great deal of fear in the country that people kind of like suppressed or put under the carpet. So we're talking about people, miners in Pennsylvania, steel workers, people in the heartland. And that, to an extent, is a fallacy. Now, I have friends. I'm a retired letter carrier, postal worker. I'm a union rep. And a lot of guys that I deal with on Facebook who are my regime, my crew, are Trump supporters. And these guys come from Queens, from Staten Island. So the talk or the impression that people got that these people were from God's country, out in the boondocks, is not true. Trump appeals to a mass of people and a great variety of people. These guys are workers. These are guys who own homes. They own cars. They're comfortable in their life. They send their kids to college. They like Trump. So the whole thing is what Trump has done to some segments appeals to a lot of people. What Trump has done to other segments, being in a sense a racist, being a loudmouth, catering to people who he should not cater to, right-wing neo-Nazis. It's like, how do we balance that out with a guy who's pretty good with the economy, guy's doing good, and people love him to a certain extent, but yet he's a hate monger on another level. So he's really sort of like a shapeshifter. We don't know who he is, and we're kind of like upset in the direction he's going. Now he's into this impeachment mode where he's like pretty much tried to extort the president of Ukraine into like a phony investigation of Biden, who was his main challenger in the election coming up. And this is immorality. He's not immoral, he's amoral. He thinks he can get away with all the stuff he's done for years and years and years. So you have
I got something to say about that.
impeachment, and again, we're back to square one. Where are we? Dom, would you like
Yeah,
to make a comment?
I read a book recently. I mean, I wish I had, I didn't know that what I read would be relevant tonight, or I would have reviewed it, but I have a vague memory of it, but it was pretty powerful. It was written by a social scientist, and it's about morality. And this guy was actually trying to figure out why people are disagreeing in the United States now, and he was trying to figure it out. He came from a liberal point of view, but he was sympathetic with the people who voted for Trump, and he was trying to figure out, and he was talking from a social scientific point of view, and he established that there were like six foundations for morality. One, by the way, is patriotism, fairness. Another being caring, and what he came to the conclusion of in this book, just to be brief, is that most of the rest of the country puts equal weight on all of the moral values, and in the liberal cities, like New York City, LA, places like that, there's a tremendous emphasis just on two of the moral. One is fairness, and the other is caring, and they don't, and the rest of it, which is loyalty, I think it's coming back to me a bit. There are actually 6 or 7: loyalty, patriotism, religion, for instance, faith. People in New York liberals don't care about any of that. They care about caring and to the degree where they actually discount the other areas, you know, and he made a really, it really impressed me as something that felt right in terms of, and as an explanation. So you know, I don't believe that he's appealing to people because he's amoral. I believe that I think people see in him, like say for instance, somebody from the Midwest or the Heartland would see him as supporting family, as supporting patriotism, as supporting.
Don,
Yeah.
we're going to have to take a break.
Okay.
I'm happy to have both of you guys. So we're really going to go to a break right now. We'll be back in a minute. Thank you.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Okay, we're back. For good or for worse, we're back. Now I'd like to, get Mike into this little conversation of the heartland versus the real world. So, Mike, throw yourself into it.
Okay, Joe. First, I'd like to disagree with some of the premise of your questions. Getting back to Don's point about his painting, where the painting depicts the falsely accused, right?
Mm-hmm. And the accused.
And the accused, right. But
Yeah.
Trump has been falsely accused of being a racist. There's no evidence that he's a racist. I know a lot of people that know him for many years. They do business with him, and they all say they've never seen a racist thing he's done or said. The thing he said, he's quoted to have said about on the bus, the Access Hollywood tape,
Mm-hmm.
where they accused him of saying that he does grab women. He never said that. He said he could grab women.
It's enough to alarm
he was
them, though,
speaking.
right?
He was speaking hypothetically, and they accused him of admitting that he actually does this, which he never did. But the press plays it up one way to make him look bad, just like in the paintings. You have all the people that were falsely accused. Maybe some are rightly accused, but so far nobody's been proven guilty, right?
Well, Weinstein, I guess, the only one. But he hasn't even been
No,
proven.
he's
hasn't.
just
No,
started the trial.
That's true. You're right.
Trial
Nobody-
just started.
Well, actually, Mike Tyson was proved guilty, I think, for beating his wife and so on and so forth, with other stuff. And there was a couple of other. Cosby was also convicted.
Cosby was
Yeah,
convicted.
so there's a
yes.
couple of guys in
Right.
there that yeah.
Right, but there's more people that have been accused and not convicted than
That's
you
true.
have. You
Yes.
have
Epstein is in
convicts.
there. Epstein is in there.
Right.
Sure, sure. Yeah, it's true.
And
Yes.
getting back to President Trump, the thing he's accused of in the impeachment trial is some sort of corruption with Ukraine, some sort of despicable act that he committed with Ukraine, but nothing he did or said on those telephone calls was illegal or immoral or improper. He likes to say it's a perfect call. He likes to exaggerate. We all know he exaggerates, but exaggeration is not a crime. When you have Alan Dershowitz saying that nothing he did in that instance is impeachable, he's more anti-Trump than anybody here, right? But still, he supports the Constitution, and he can look at the facts and recognize that the facts don't add up to impeachable offenses. So why are we going through an impeachment trial if there's no impeachable offense?
One, the way I speculate it is the Democrats have not gotten any cooperation from him. And a lot of it's a purely political ploy, as much as I think he should be impeached and he's not like a great guy. Election is coming. They're taking their shot. They know from Jump Street that the Republican Senate had the majority, and there's no way he was going to get impeached. He's done a lot of things for his base and for his friends. Political changes in environmental law, a lot of things that are making a lot of people rich. But also his base see their wages rising. They see things changing, their perception of the feelings of like things are changing, like you said, that it's not their country anymore, that they're losing control of their lives is kind of like abated. So for that, they like Trump. I say it's not like the heartland. It's in Staten Island. It's in Queens. They're my people. They're the pizza maker on the corner. He's a Trump fan. He's in the Bronx. So it's not like the liberal New York or Los Angeles versus Idaho or North Dakota. There are Trump lovers everywhere, or Trump supporters everywhere.
There are traditional Americans everywhere.
There's a mixed group of people that have values that are old-fashioned, like patriotism.
Right. Traditional Americans, I call them.
Traditional Americans, in that we're just as caring. Evangelical Christians are pretty much pro-Trump, and they're supposed to be religious. So really, a lot of people love Trump. A lot of people tolerate Trump because Trump is doing something good for them and giving them a voice. So I'm in a mixed bag. I think Trump is amoral. I think Trump is a con artist. I think he panders to a lot of low ideas. He panders to neo-Nazis. Whether he's a racist himself, he's taking advantage of the fact that these people would actually support him. So a lot of this stuff is, hey, is he good, is he bad, or maybe he's somewhere in the middle. So basically, I'm doing, the best I can to kind of like fathom what's going on. There's not set morality. Morality, to a certain extent, is maybe kind of like dead, perhaps. So we have him. My guess is that he's going to wind up being acquitted, and then we have the chance to throw his ass out, excuse the expression, in November. So I don't think this is a circus to be, and I don't know which way it's going. And I've made up my mind as far as the character of Trump, but not everybody has made up their mind. And there's a lot of information, a lot of opinion, Don's opinion, Mike's opinion. And, we just have to live with what we've got. So would you like a...
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
If you needed heart surgery and you had a choice of two surgeons, one has mediocre skills, but he's the most moral person in the country, and the other one has the best skills, but he cheats at his golf game, which one do you want?
Best skills.
Right. So look at the presidential candidate that has the best skills for promoting what's good for the country.
When I was 10 years old, President Eisenhower got on TV, and I believed in everything. I mean, I led 3 lives, all those things. I mean, I believed in America when I was 10. And I saw the President of the United States lie to the American people. I didn't know till later, and I was stunned by it. And then after that, I've gamely watched every single American president not only commit impeachable acts, but also lie. And I don't think that Trump should be impeached, because I think what he's doing, they've all done. But I do think that what he did is impeachable. But I think that it doesn't matter, because I think it's just a word, that's just bandied around. I don't think it has any force anymore, because people do what they can do in terms of how much power they have when they're in office, And but I think they're all corrupt, all murderers, all thieves, and that's people who become the leaders of countries like ours,
Most countries.
Most countries actually, yeah.
Can either of you state a single act or statement that is impeachable that Trump has done?
Well, I believe what he did in this instance is actually true, but I don't think it matters. I believe that he told the guy that I'm not going to, you investigate Biden, get his ass, or else I'm not going to give you the money.
Well, basically,
I don't think
that's extortion.
But I think it's cool. I think it's fine. I think every president does that all the time, except they're not called on it. I think he's called on it because of the politics. I think they all do it.
See,
I think they all
we
have
go
done it.
around and around and around.
And it doesn't bother me either, because that's what they do.
Kind of like reached a certain opinion that, well, it's bad, but it's not bad enough to impeach.
Oh,
I think, again, it's an impeachable offense, but not quite. I think there's a lot of political circus here. I think there's a lot of mistakes the Democrats made, and he's not a good guy. I don't find him good. I don't find him moral. I find him hypocritical, but a lot of people like that.
But you wouldn't care
if
about...
we would get rid of everybody who are hypocritical, it would be tough to find a neighbor or knock on
do you know
your
any of
neighbor's
these guys?
door.
You don't know anybody. All you see is what you see on the media. You don't really know these people. Just like actors. I mean, you see them do this thing, and you don't really know them.
Yeah.
So all you know is what gets presented. That's all.
It's sort of like a charade. You pick the good guy, you pick the bad guy based on what he could do for you or your comfort level. So basically, pick you pick them the best you can. So really, the only thing I can say is had a wonderful evening, and I got two super heavyweights. I'm not, afraid to speak to your conscience and everything like that. And primarily, that's what we need. We need more Mikes. We need more Dons. We need more artists, and we need more mechanics, and we need more people who are willing to sit down and talk. So really, what I could say is I'm happy to have you guys. It's wonderful. You're part of the family. And what can I say? Good night. Have a good day. And thank you for coming, because really you guys are the salt of the earth. You're not afraid to sit down. You're not afraid to, to do your thing, to make your peace. So thank you very much. We had an excellent evening, and this is the end. I'm happy you guys came on to Joe's Talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.